The Fox News studio blazed with light as Karoline Leavitt stood poised, her sharp blue suit a vivid contrast against the glaring spotlights. At just 27, the White House press secretary knew this moment could redefine her career. Moments earlier, Robert Darrow, a two-time Oscar-winning Hollywood titan, had unleashed a ferocious attack, branding Trump a catastrophe and Leavitt his marionette. The audience erupted instantly, a cacophony of fervent cheers and sharp whistles filling the space. Yet Leavitt remained unshaken, her fingers tightened around the microphone, her eyes blazing with resolve. The man who had built an empire on acting accolades and cinematic triumphs thought he could crush a rising star in the MAGA movement. For Leavitt, this wasn't just an assault, it was a golden opportunity to flip the narrative, to seize the spotlight from Darrow. This wasn't a mere debate, it was a chance to reshape the story. Before we delve deeper, tell us where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. The studio buzzed under harsh lights as Darrow, clad in a sleek black suit, commanded center stage. His cold, calculating stare evoked the hardened criminals he once portrayed on screen. The crowd's applause surged as seeing Hannity introduced him, praising him as a Hollywood legend who speaks his truth. Without pausing, Darrow's voice boomed, "Let me be crystal clear. Donald Trump is a disaster, and Karoline Leavitt, she's just his puppet," a young woman clueless beyond reciting Trump's lines. The room ignited, MAGA supporters jeering loudly while liberals clapped in approval. Darrow stepped forward, his hand raised theatrically, ready for his next verbal strike. "You think I'm kidding?" he sneered, his New York accent sharp and mocking. "I've seen men like Trump, hollow talkers with no depth, unportrayed gangsters, but Trump, he's the real thing. And Leavitt, she's his little follower." The liberals' laughter fueled Darrow's bravado as he continued, "You're the youngest press secretary ever, but what's your record? You're the one who leaked Trump's plans by accidentally adding a reporter to a chat. Is that how you represent America? If so, we're in serious trouble." The crowd burst into cheers, one voice shouting, "Spot on, Bobby." Darrow leaned back, a smug smile spreading, as if he'd landed a decisive blow. Sean Hannity tried to interject, but Darrow waved him off. "Come out, Leavitt. I want to see you defend being Trump's puppet. Justify this man, the so-called menace I've warned about for years." His words hung heavily, the tension thick as Darrow signaled his intent to bring her down. The studio fell silent for a moment, all eyes turning to the wings where Leavitt stood backstage. She stood resolute, fists clenched, her mind racing through Darrow's biting insults. Gen Z puppet, naive kid. None of it fazed her. She was ready. Her assistant handed her an iPad, saying, "Here's that clip of Darrow praising Obama in 2016. Leavitt nodded, a subtle smirk forming. "Send it to production. We're playing it when I walk out." The moment arrived. The spotlight flared as Leavitt strode onto the stage, her heels clicking with purposeful resolve. The crowd's response was a mix of cheers and jeers, MAGA supporters roaring in support while liberals heckled in dissent. Leavitt's eyes locked onto Darrow as she seized the microphone. "Mr. Darrow," she began, her voice cutting through the tension, "I heard every word you said. Gen Z puppet, clueless kid. You think your Oscars and tough guy image give you the right to demean me and President Trump? Well, you're mistaken." A stunned silence followed. Darrow raised an eyebrow, visibly caught off guard. Leavitt didn't let him recover. "You call Trump a gangster and me a follower, but have you taken a good look at yourself? You're a Hollywood legend coasting on past glory, starring in duds like Asterisk, The Alter Knights Asterisk, and you dare lecture me about failure." The MAGA contingent erupted in applause, urging her on. Leavitt stepped closer, her voice steady. "You ridiculed me for the signal leak, but do you understand accountability? You brand Trump a narcissist, yet you never reflect on yourself. Let me show you something." She cued production, and a 2016 clip of Darrow lauding Obama flashed on screen. Leavitt turned back, her stare piercing. There you are, praising Obama, Trump's greatest adversary. So who's the true hypocrite? You despise Trump, but endorse what he corrected. The crowd exploded in cheers, the noise deafening, with MAGA supporters leaping to their feet, chanting in fervor as Darrow stood, face flushed with humiliation. But Leavitt wasn't done. She pressed her attack. You claim I'm Trump's puppet, but I'm here because I believe in our mission. I believe in making America great again. Meanwhile, you're living in opulence, dining at elite restaurants. I grew up in a middle-class family in New Hampshire, who's truly out of touch. The room trembled with energy as the audience roared in agreement. Leavitt wasn't merely defending herself, she was dismantling Darrow systematically. Darrow stumbled, attempting to regroup. You think you're smart, huh? He snapped, his voice wavering. I've fought bigger than you. Leavitt's smile remained steady, her gaze unflinching. Fight whoever you like, but today, you've lost. I'm not here for your entertainment, Mr. Darrow. I'm here to show the nation just how wrong you are. Leavitt turned to the crowd, raising her hand. Who thinks it's time for Mr. Darrow to step aside? The room detonated, the applause thunderous. A tidal wave of support for Leavitt that rattled the studio walls. Sean Hannity chuckled, joining the ovation. Karoline, you just owned this stage. Darrow, now visibly rattled, muttered, You're good, his voice barely audible. Leavitt shrugged, her confidence unshaken. Go ahead, Mr. Darrow, ask your questions, if you dare. As the cameras panned away, it was evident this wasn't just a comeback, it was a total rout, a shift in dominance. Karoline Leavitt had taken down a Hollywood giant live on air. The next day, Darrow appeared on CNN, attempting to salvage his image. She thinks she's clever, but I've faced Trump for years. She's just his echo, he said, but his words lacked conviction. The narrative had already shifted online. The fallout was seismic. The video of Leavitt's blistering rebuttal went viral, with the hashtag Leavitt FreeSarah soaring to the top of X's trending list, inundating the platform with admiration for the young press secretary. MAGA supporters hailed her triumph, calling it a massive strike against the establishment. Memes proliferated, one showing a rattled Darrow captioned, When you think you're a tough guy but get outwitted by Gen Z. The victory transcended politics, it was cultural. Leavitt had demonstrated that the future of politics belongs to those who can shape the story, not just those with decades of fame. She wasn't only defending Trump, she was paving the way for the next wave of political fighters. Darrow's defeat served as a stark warning that the political arena had evolved. The old guard had underestimated the power of youth, wit, and the shifting media landscape. For Leavitt, her triumph cemented her as a rising star, fearless, unapologetic, and ready for whatever lies ahead. Ultimately, her performance was more than a win over Darrow. It was a declaration. The future of politics isn't shaped by age or past accolades. It's defined by who commands the narrative and rises to the moment. Her victory solidified her place as a formidable force, unafraid to challenge the establishment, and poised to lead the next generation of political warriors. The old dynamics of power had been upended, and Leavitt's takedown of Darrow was a vivid reminder that the landscape of influence now rewards those who can wield the story with precision and courage.